AG Sports. We're back, guys. This is the first recording I'm making after uh, the first round of preseason games, and man, that was god awful. That Washington game ended up going 0-2. One of the things that's important in this industry, guys, is just not to shy away from the losses. It's gonna happen. Nobody shoots 100%, but more importantly, it's just looking at what you can learn from those losses. So one thing that I did learn is, Washington just is going to run on first down. They were going to run on the majority of their first downs last night, and because of that, it ended up not only being less efficient as an offense, but they ended up just scoring much less than I thought they were going to. And that's, it happens that way. Now, that may change in the regular season, but I'll be honest with you, it just doesn't ever really sit well with me when a team decides they're going to just be so run heavy on first downs and just kind of set themselves up for bad expectations on second and third down. But then, aside from that, that's really impacted not only the offense and their chances of covering. Of course, it was Washington minus 1.5 before the game started. Actually, right before the game started, it flipped. So it was Washington plus 1.5. But either way, guys, it just ended up totally wrong side on that one. Washington just looked like maybe Rivera came out wanting to try and just didn't know how to get more out of that team. As far as the over, man, that one felt like was not the wrong side. At the end of the day, yes, it is obviously right. You didn't win, but at over 35.5, and the game ended at exactly 35. We're half a point away, and you got to keep in mind it was just missed field goal after missed field goal for Washington. Like I said, just the inefficient offense, and I get that he wasn't playing with the starters all game long, and nobody expected him to, but bad play calling only makes bad players worse. So yeah, one of those field goals goes in, or we get maybe just another chance at a field goal with some better play calling, and we get the over. So at the end of the day, it's 0-2, guys. It happens. If you tailed it, sorry. If you didn't, like I said, it happens. That all being said, though, we have the Broncos and Vikings still coming up. That game will be on Saturday, and that one is the Vikings +2. And so we'll get another look at these teams, and hopefully we'll get a win on the board finally with this Vikings game. And this one is more, more apt to what I'm usually going after with preseason, which is where one coach just absolutely doesn't care, which is, in this case, Vic Fangio with the Broncos. Bill Belichick and Ron Rivera had the same record last night, with they're both 7-5 over the last 3 years for preseason. I don't have the number here in front of me, obviously, but Vic Fangio, I know, does not have a winning record, whereas Mike Zimmer has, I believe, a 6-2 record in those last 3 years, and actually wants to win this game. So, like I said, we're going to still hold on hope for that one, but that is going to be Saturday. Aside from that, I do want to go over the rest of the picks I have for week 1, and if you watched my last video, I had the Broncos and Giants under 42.5, and I said that was my last play for week 1, and we have some season-long bets that we've been talking about in the summertime. So back in the beginning of July, we had the Colts under 10.5 wins for the season. That has actually changed. I believe it's down to 9 already. So now it's Colts under 9. So I would no longer take that. I think they're like a 9-win team. If Carson Wentz can come back week 1 or even week 2, they probably have about 9 wins in them. Aside from that, the Lions under 5, that still stands. Now, I did just recently have the Rams to win NFC. That's not necessarily something I would say everybody go run out and do that. I'm doing it because I see the value in a plus 525. I think the Rams, on paper, at least, are the best team in the NFC with the best offense, the best defense, and the best coach, which are the 3 attributes that I really like to take into consideration. That being said, though, they do have a pretty difficult schedule. I believe they're like the 22nd or something like that, around the 20th most difficult schedule for the season. And so it's not going to be easy to get there, which is why I didn't take them winning their division. They may end up not winning the division because San Francisco just has the easier schedule. They have the easiest schedule in the entire NFL. So if San Francisco wins the division, I could see the Rams still getting into the playoffs as a wild card and then ended up winning the NFC. So that's on there. And then lastly, we have the Jets under 6 wins. I look at that team and I really don't see more than 5 wins, and 5 is even kind of giving them some breaks along the way. They do play the Texans this year, so that's going to be a win. And I believe they obviously play the Jaguars because they were also a last place team last year. And so there's, like I said, 1 or 2 that can be wins, and there's another like 1, 2, or even 3 that are kind of toss-up games. So I really don't see that team getting over 5 wins, even with the new coach, even with the new players around them. And I like the Jets. I think they're actually going to be a better team this year. Just more fun to watch, and then even better as the season goes on and as we get into next season. But for this year, I don't have them getting over 6 wins. So those are the 4 season-long bets as far as week 1 is concerned. Jags at Texans under 45.5. That has moved down a half a point, so it's at under 45 at this time. Now, this is something I don't say. I don't try to. I'm not a proponent of this, which is betting more than 1 unit on a game. I bet 3.5 units on it. I was up in Vegas. This line was still there at the 45.5, and it's really the best time to get that was when I had it, when I was there. It was in front of me. And if you don't already know this, in Vegas, you can actually make bets there, and then you can mail your ticket in to get the cash, or in this case, a check back in the mail. So placing that down there, having more cash available, and really seeing this as one of the good plays that was still on the board, I did a larger wager. And if you're in Vegas, if you are not usually in somewhere that you can, easily gamble, Vegas is somewhere you like to just kind of have fun, trying to make as much money as you can while you're there. So you want to bet a little bigger than you usually would, which is also the same reason for the Seahawks bet, and Seahawks +3 at the time. And this one is actually a little bit different because I had placed some wagers before I went to Vegas, and then I saw the line was still up there, and I just went heavy on that one as well with another like 3.5 units added onto it. Same reason, just win in Vegas, right? But that being said, that line has also come down. And as of right now, I don't think there is even a line out on this one. This was made before Carson Wentz was injured and before Quentin Nelson was injured. So as of right now, I don't even think you can find a line on this yet. Dolphins and Patriots, that's still there. So I have the Patriots -2.5. I like that play even more after watching the Patriots last night. The 49ers -7. About a half point on that one, so just grabbing the key number. And I've heard a lot of people say that they think the Lions can actually cover that, and some people even say that the Lions have a chance at winning that game. It is the NFL, anything can happen. Obviously, I was wrong last night, so it can be wrong again. But I will say, I don't see them doing it. The new coach, new quarterback to the team, and just really not a whole lot of talent all over the place. You got to give me a reason as to why you think the Lions will do it, other than just, well, why not? Broncos, Giants under 42.5. I did a whole video on that one as to why it was. The teaser for the week was Bears and the Rams. Got the Rams down to -1. Got the Buccaneers down to -0.5 point. So that was really the tease, and that's the one I would say everyone should go out there and do. However, I had left this on my board, and so just again another note, guys, and kind of preseason form here. But I had left on that betting ticket was the Chargers at Washington under, and with the tease, it got it up to 51, which worked because it's a key number for totals. So if you're going to try to tell me on this one, I would just say do the Rams and the Buccaneers with a 6-point teaser, which as of right now will get you -1 for both the Rams and the Bucs. In my case, though, it ends up being a 3-way tease with Washington under 51. I mean, the good news is it pays +135, but obviously it's a 3-team teaser, not necessarily the way I like to play it. Lastly, we have the Ravens -4.5 at the Raiders. The Raiders, if you didn't already know this, are the 31st ranked rushing defense, and they are one of the least blitz-heavy teams. The Ravens love to run the ball and do struggle against the blitz, so the Raiders are really playing right into their hands. The Ravens should come out and blow the Raiders out of the water week 1, as long as there's no changes and major injuries, which luckily there have not been any. I have the Ravens just totally smashing the Raiders in that Week 1 opener. Lastly, there is a round robin I wanted to talk about, and didn't already know about it. I had this in a video earlier. A round robin is when you pick basically like a parlay. Like you pick like 5, 6, 7 teams, and you say, okay, I think these are winners, and if let's say it's a 16 parlay like in this one, if any 5 of these hit, I want to win something. So I have Jags at Texans under 45.5, Chargers at Washington under 44.5, 49ers at Lions under 46, Dolphins and Patriots under 45. Patriots defense is looking a lot better, by the way. Broncos at Giants again under 42.5, and the Ravens at the Raiders under 51. EV wise or expected value, parlays are not your way to go. It's very, very difficult to make money in parlays. What I like to do, and the only reason I like to do it, is I'll play it with like a tenth of a unit. So if you're betting $100, you would bet $10 on this one. It'd be a $10 parlay, but you would do 6 parlays of 5 teams, meaning that any 5 of these teams can win, and you'll win some money. And so if one of those parlays wins, you end up winning $255. Now 6 parlays at $10, that's quick math, that's $60. But if one of them wins, you're winning that plus, a whole lot more back. You're going to win about, if you're betting $100, you're going to end up with about a 1.9 unit win if just one of these parlays hits, meaning 85 teams. Now, if that 6 team hits and you get all 6 teams, so you get all 6 of your parlays to pay out, you would win $1,500. So you would turn $60 into $1,500, which means you're about plus 14 units. And that gets me to the reason of why I do this one little bit at the beginning of the season when you have kind of everything on your, stacked in your favor because you've been doing this summer-long research. You can essentially pay for your entire season or a majority of it, or just walk away if you wanted to with one big score at the beginning of the season. This is not something I would do every week, but it is something I wanted to show here just to show you that it's possible, something that I like to do. And for, relatively, like, let's say it's about half a unit total with the 16 parlay here, it doesn't hurt, especially if you're going to just try it once. If it hits, great, you're going to pay for itself and then, pay for a lot of your season. If it doesn't, well, that's it. Then you just keep moving on, and hopefully the rest of your plays are going to pay out. So that's what I wanted to go over here today. 2 things I wanted to give you guys some tools to work with, and one of them is OddsJam. And if you haven't heard of OddsJam, it's basically a way to get arbitrage and to find arbitrage in the market. So some of them, so if you're looking at OddsJam, you go to the odds. If for me, obviously, it's going to just be football. But once you come in here, it's going to show you all the different teams that are playing and win and all that kind of good stuff, which is great. It's also going to show you the lines here for the 2 prominent books that they're using. Let's just click on Cardinals Cowboys. It's going to actually highlight for you the best and worst odds. So if you wanted to take, the best and the best odds for each individual team. So if you wanted to take like the Cowboys and you said, okay, well, I really know I want to take the Cowboys money line, then your best bet is going to go to Pinnacle, and you're going to get plus 116, whereas everywhere else you're pretty much getting plus 110. Now, it also works the other way around. So for the other team, obviously, Cardinals are the favorite. It's at minus 125. It's the best line at my bookie. And then you can have the other ones here. One of the things that I like about OddsJam is that you can actually make a lot of money off of just straight arbitrage. So let's say right now, the Cowboys are plus 116. And let's use last night as an example. So yesterday morning, or actually even 2 days before that, the Washington football team was the favorite, and the money line was like plus 110 or something. Right? So let's say that you took that line. Yesterday, right before kickoff, the line had actually switched. So when the line changes, and we had right before kickoff was going to be the Patriots -2, and then their money line was like Patriots. I believe it was minus 120, 115 before kickoff. Either way, what I'm trying to get to here is that you could have bet the Patriots plus 110 before, 2 days before, and then right before kickoff, you could have bet Washington plus 110 or plus 120. And the reason you would do that, obviously, is at that point, you're no longer really betting, you're just collecting money. So whoever won didn't matter. Had you bet both ways, you would have won 110, and let's say you're betting $100 on one team to begin with, and you bet another $100 on the other team when you see the arbitrage rise. So you have officially bet $200. When you win one of those bets at a plus 110, you're going to get your $100 back plus $110 back. So you end up getting back $210, making a $10 profit. Maybe that doesn't sound like a whole lot, but if you can find arbitrage, and again, you're not really betting at this point, you're just printing money and waiting for it to happen. So you can bet large, you can bet 1,000, 10,000, or however much you want to bet, and make that arbitrage, and 10% of whatever number you're using, that's how much you're going to make in that particular scenario. So if you're betting $10,000 a game, then you would be making $1,000 per arbitrage. So that's how that works. And maybe you're not betting $10,000 yet. Maybe it's like $100 or maybe it's $10 or whatever. By using arbitrage, if nothing else, you're going to just keep your bankroll going and be able to take advantage of those positions when they come up. And OddsJam is the best way to do it. OddsJam also shows you the point spread. So it's going to show you this minus 1.5 and plus 1.5, the best numbers to get that with. But more importantly, it's going to show you if there is another spread that comes out, what it changes to. So if there's one that has Cowboys like +2, that's going to pop up over here as well. So take advantage of arbitrage when it comes up. One of the hardest things about arbitrage is trying to find it, because if you're just using one or two books, odds are you're not going to find it unless one of those books is just really way behind or really way ahead of the curve. And so the best bet for this is OddsJam. I'll put the link below to OddsJam if anybody wants to join it. It's really easy to use, as you just see me use it, and it's going to give you the best way to make essentially free money. I don't have a better way to put that, without really having to, quote unquote gamble. So take a look at it. Like I said, the link will be in the comments below, but hopefully you are maybe getting a good view of my picks, whether you want to follow them or fade them or whatever you want to do, and you will take advantage of this OddsJam. So thank you again for viewing. Have a great day, guys, and I'll be back with another video shortly.